Hello everybody, this is Bronislava. I have a blog, HandMadeRukodelky, where you can go and find lots of patterns. Some are free, some are that you need to go and purchase it to support my blog and my YouTube channel. And the same thing is going to be for today's project. It's going to be written on my blog, so you can go right below the video in a description, click on a link to see the written pattern. And I will be actually today telling you how I knitted this top-down yoke sweater, okay, with open front. And it's made from a very bulky yarn. Unfortunately, you cannot go and purchase it anymore, but you could go and substitute it, and I talk about it a little bit in my video. This is the yarn, just in case. You can go and find 16 balls for this small sized sweater, 16 balls, okay? It's just, I really enjoyed working with this because the way it came out, that you really cannot see increases in a yoke. Very simple pattern. Also for people who are who would like to really just try to work with a pattern like this, okay? And I worked on very thick needles, knitting needles. So that's about it for this project. Oh, and also I will go and show you how I added the sleeve. Okay, so I'll tell you how I knitted this, but I will show you how I added one of these sleeves. Okay, so that's what is our video about. So here I am. I laid out my sweater on the floor so you could see better because my table is too small. In this video, I will not really knit the entire sweater, but I will explain to you how I knitted the yoke. It's a top down, so it's very simple pattern. It will be on my blog. And then I will show you how I am working with the sleeve area. Let me first tell you what I used. I used this fabulous yarn that I bought about 5 years ago. And this yarn is really beautiful. I absolutely love. Some part of it is like muted, and then there are like brighter, like this orange or this purple that just pops out. The yarn is flat. They flattened the yarn, and then they sewed over it with a thread. Okay, so it's really interesting yarn, and I really love the effect of it. However, sadly, this yarn has been discontinued, so I would go and suggest using another different type of very chunky yarn that yields 8 stitches and 11 rows in 4 inches, okay? Or you could also grab a yarn that is also chunky, but not as chunky as this one, and double it. And I have an example of a yarn over here. This one yields 14, almost 14 stitches. So if you would go and double it, it would give you that thickness of this yarn when you're knitting with it. All right. Then I have this one, but this one actually, this is also fabulous. I'm gonna go and knit something for you with this yarn. So if you go, this yarn stretches. So you would have to triple this yarn to get this chunkiness of this yarn, because this yarn gets you about 16 to 20 stitches per 4 inches. All right, but I love this yarn, and I have different colors. I was thinking about another sweater. Let's go and talk about other tools that I used. I used number 15 needles, which is 10 millimeters. Okay. And I also worked with these circular needles, also 10 millimeter, number 15. But I use this only for this part and for the body. And I'll tell you, I was suffering through it. And then I moved on to my double pointed needles for my sleeves. I mean, I already finished one sleeve. I'll be doing another sleeve. I will be showing it to you. Anyway, so let me actually explain to you what I did. This is bothering me that it's rolling. Anyway, so I started here at the top. Okay. And so if we go and turn this around and we go and cast on the stitches, I knitted 6 rows. I just knitted 6 rows and I didn't do any increases. As soon as I was finished with 6 rows and started, and this is, as you see, garter stitch. Okay, so I was knitting back and forth, just knit stitches, because this is knitted back and forth, not in the round. And then I started increasing. So for 10 rows over here, I increased 5 times. And you can actually see the shape over here is a little bit out. So, you know, for the shoulders, so it shapes on the shoulders that it's more rounded over here. And then I started knitting, doing the increases as I was knitting, lower number and lower, okay, until I reached my armpits in the length, okay. And then when I was finished with this part, I started working on my body. So I connected my back to the fronts, okay. And as you see, I started with 1. And so when I was connecting the back to the front, I placed, as you see, my sleeve stitches on the string. So it would be, you know, I could go and connect it, because if it would be on something really stiff, you would not be able to connect this very nicely, right? So I connected the back with the front, and also in between the back and the front, I added a couple stitches. Okay, so when I was actually working over here, I knitted when I was doing it, I knitted my stitches over here, added 2 stitches, okay, actually first put my stitches on this thread, then added 2 stitches, then I knitted my back stitches, then I added these sleeves stitches on a string like this. All right, then I added 2 stitches over here and continued knitting my front. When I was finished with my length over here on my sweater, I finished my edge with another garter stitch. When I was working on the body, I was beside the garter stitch, I was working on knit stitches on one side and purl stitches on the other side. But my edges were all knitted. They were knitted on the right side and they were knitted on the wrong side. Okay, so that's what I did. Again, my pattern is going to be on my blog, and it's going to be it's very well written, so you will not have a hard time following it. But let me go and show you what I did with the sleeve area when I was working over here. I will show you how I cast it on and how I will knit 1 or 2 rows, so you see what I was doing. And then later on I started decreasing to make the sleeve more narrow. Let me go and pull this over here so you can see better. So you can see where I was, every 10 rows I was decreasing 2 stitches. Okay, 1 here and 1 here, right there on the seam. It did not have any seam because, you know, but it has the starting point and ending point, right? So right there at the beginning I would go and decrease, and at the end I would decrease, and I did that 4 times, and then finished the sleeve again with garter stitch. Although I cast it on 2 stitches in here when we were putting the back and fronts together and leaving the sleeves stitches on our string, it does look like I have, you know, like I need 4 stitches in here. And we will definitely go and do 4 stitches in here because we would have like big gap in here. Okay, so we will kind of close that gap there. But first we will put these stitches on our needles. So I will just take my needle and place it into each of the stitches, and if they got short for you to place them in, you can pull them up a little bit. And so I have 24 stitches in here, and I will be adding 4 stitches, that will be 28. So I will put 7 stitches over here. Actually on this I will put 5 stitches, then I will put 7 stitches on the next needle, 7 stitches over here and 5 stitches in here, and then we will add 2 stitches to this needle and 2 stitches to this needle. Okay, so that's what I will do. And you can do it also because we want the middle right there. Okay, all right, so now we are going to start knitting in the round. So we will be knitting only, I like to go and pull the from the inside. So we will be knitting in the round. Okay, oh, here is our end. Okay, so you know that if you want to start and you need to knit on the right side, we will need to go and start right over here. Okay, so we will go and look where is our stitch, one of the 2 stitches. So we have this stitch, we were knitting going down, so this is the stitch and this is the stitch that we added, and then we have that space between these stitches. Okay, let me go and show it to you better. Okay, so we were knitting down this way, so this is the stitch that we added and this is the stitch that we added, and then we have this space between the other stitches. So this one stitch belongs to this needle, this stitch belongs to this needle, okay? So we will go and add a stitch to this needle because we're gonna be working in this direction. All right, so we will go and if you have hard time pulling it through the stitches with your needle, you can also do it with the hook. All right, so let's go and do it with the hook. It will be easier. So we can go and grab this and place it on your needle. And now find a nice spot that is not gonna make a hole. Like this stitch would go and make a hole, so I will go over here and it's gonna be firmer and it's not going to be, I will not have any hole in there, okay? So that's 2 stitches that I was talking about, and now we will knit 5 stitches, and that will be 7 stitches altogether on this needle. Okay, let's turn it around a little bit. Now we are going to knit next 7 stitches. We'll turn again. Next 7 stitches. Turn it around. Now we have 5 stitches and we need to cast on 2 more stitches. So we will go and knit 5 stitches. And we will cast on using hook again, so it's easier on us. We will cast on 2 more stitches. So let me go and see. So we have this stitch that we need to cast on, and we could go right here into this stitch. Let me show it to you again in a better way. Okay, so we will go here, grab the yarn, put it on the hook. So we casted 1 stitch, and now we need to cast on this stitch that we casted on when we were adding back to the front. Okay, and we will add it on the hook again. Now we have this end, and what I will do, okay, now if you want to mark it, put beginning in here so you know where you are, although you will know. But I put a marker in here so I know what's going on. And this was my first row, and I also mark that because we will be, we need to count 10 rows. So this is 1 row, and we need 9 more rows before we start decreasing for the sleeve like I did over here. So you see I marked my first row right in here. Okay, knitted 10 rows, and when I started knitting another row, 11th or first row of another section, I decreased the stitches right there. Okay, so let me go and mark it so I don't lose the count right here. Okay, so that's our first row and also beginning of our row. Okay, and we can go and continue knitting. Let me go and start you up. Now this is our tail, and what I will do, actually I will tighten up these and I will knit 2 or 3 stitches with my tail and with my yarn. All right, it's underarm, so it won't show really that much that it's thick. And here, this one I have to knit through the back loop because it's twisted. It should have been like this. Okay. So that's 2, and 1 more I will knit because we need that stitch in the beginning nice and tight. And then later on I will weave in the tail a little bit more. All right. And so this is my second row, and I will knit 9 more rows. So until I have 10 rows, I will knit, and then we will decrease, and I will show you the decrease, okay? And then from then on, you can go and knit along my written pattern. Again, this is going to be a written pattern for very simple, chunky sweater for extra small or small lady. And I will go and write the measurements of this sweater, the length of the sleeves, the width of the sweater, the length of the sweater, okay? So you can go and look also on my blog. There are lots of free patterns. Some are for sale if you want to support my channel and my blog. You can always purchase or donate. I do have also if you want to donate, but you know, at this time, I don't think I went through the back loop over here as well, as you noticed, because that stitch was twisted, and this one also. It was not put on the needle in the right way. All right. So anyway, so you know, people, I do this for people that cannot afford purchasing. But if you can purchase or donate, that's wonderful, you know. But times are tough for many people. I hate that people suffer. I hate it so much. All right, so let me go and knit until I have 10 rows. And then I will show you how to decrease right there in this area. All right, so I'm finished with my 10 rows. Let me go and show you. So this was our first stitch of the row. First row, second, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and in this row, which is gonna be our first row of the next section, we will decrease. We will decrease first 2 stitches, and we will decrease last 2 stitches. Okay, so first 2 stitches we have to knit together. Okay, and then we knit all the way to the last 2 stitches, which we will again decrease. So let's get there. And then I will explain to you how I was working on the other sleeve, just to give you ideas, and then you will take it from there. Okay. And this sleeve is knitting pretty fast because it's such a chunky yarn that it goes fast. However, oh, look at this. Oh yeah, Here it is. Look at that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I have to cut this off, and I don't like that. This is the first knot that I have experienced with this yarn. So what I do, I will cut it. Okay, let me go and knit couple stitches over here, 1 and 2. All right, and now we can go and add these two together, and I will knit with both of them together, and then I will just weave in the ends. Okay. All right, I have 3 stitches knitted, and then I'll just weave in the ends later on. I don't like this. Okay, oops. And we are actually at the end. At the end, you see, this is my marker. I would forget, I would go and decrease over here. No, 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 you have to watch your, where is your so-called seam, okay? So what we need to do with these last 2 stitches is we will slip, slip, and knit through the back loop, okay? So now, this was my first row, and I will go and put my marker here. That's my first row. And again, I will count 10 rows. So now I have to knit another 9 rows, including this is gonna be 10 rows. And then I will go and do my decrease again. And let me go and show you over here on this sleeve. So this was my first decrease which we just did over here. So this was my first row. I did again 10 rows, including that one. And then I did another decrease. Okay, I repeated it 1, 2, 3 more times, total 4 decreases. When I got over here, I just knitted several more rows in a round, and then I did 6 rows of purl knit, purl knit, purl knit. Okay, and then the last row, the 7th row, I would go and cast off or bind off my stitches. Okay, so that's what I did. Again, the pattern is written on my blog, will be written. It's not written yet, it's halfway written. Okay, so it will be written if you want to knit a chunky sweater with a very chunky yarn. However, you, as I said, you will need to go and buy yourself a another different type of yarn, because they don't make this yarn anymore. Maybe you could go and find somewhere, maybe somebody is selling this yarn somewhere, and if you really like this yarn, they have different colors as well. Actually, I have a different color. Let me show you. I have also this yarn. You see, it's also very pretty. It has pink and like a cream, orangey cream colors to it on the grayish base. So this is also really pretty, and I'm thinking what to do with this yarn. And I have also 2 bags of this one. So I went crazy. I bought 4 bags. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Again, don't forget that the links are below my video in the description, links to blog and playlist, okay, and other links to social media. Please don't forget to like the video. It really helps me to, you know, to see that you really appreciate what I'm doing, all right? Don't forget to comment if you think that you really enjoyed this video. Say something really nice. And you can also share your ideas if you think that I could improve something else, okay? Don't forget to share it with your family and friends. I am always very happy when you do that. Subscribe to my channel if you didn't do so yet, all right? And don't forget to follow me on social media. And then you will see me another time.